Hey YouTube, what's going on? Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Halloween season, so I don't know exactly when I'll be posting this video, if I'm going to be posting it on Halloween or like 2 days before Halloween or what have you. We just celebrated the 40th anniversary of Evil Dead, and I did a little video showing off my Evil Dead 1 Necronomicon, and I wanted to take a moment and just show everybody the different Necronomicons of Evil Dead. It's Halloween, it's Evil Dead season, and we just had the 40th, so why not go through some of them? So here's a quick vid. Finnegan and I are going to show you some Necros. So, let's do the intro.
Behold, my stuff.
All right. So, last video I posted, right around the 40th anniversary of Evil Dead, I would have done a live in the Knights of Samaria Facebook page, and then posted that video edited down for length and whatnot onto this YouTube page. So if I haven't posted that yet, it means I hit a snag in my editing. So why don't you go ahead and check back, subscribe, whatever you want to do to make sure you see that video if you're into Necros. If not, just check back in like a week or so. I'm sure it'll be up. I tend to run behind with my video editing. Up, Finny. Come here. This is Finnegan. You guys all know my dog, and he's going to help me with this video today. Mommy's away, so we're hanging out together, little boys weekend. Thank you, baby. I love you too. So what we saw last time was taking something simple like this Evil Dead DVD special Book of the Dead, which contains some artwork from Tom Sullivan, and it contains a sculpted cover by Tom Sullivan. You can see Sullivan's got his name right in the mold. And the big problem with these was they were made of a really shitty latex. If you took good care of it, it would be in perfect condition, but a lot of these are starting to degrade and come apart depending on how much sunlight they have, how much finger oil and stuff you leave on them, so they dry out and rot away. Latex is a expirable commodity. And so a lot of these are starting to die out, and it's really the only publicly accessible mold of an Evil Dead 1 book. So what I did was, I wanted to take this booklet. No, you can't have that ball. And I wanted to build the DVD into the book. So what I did was, I gutted my original one. This one will actually be reworked again. I'm restoring these for people now. And I reworked it into this. So I replasti-dipped it. I went in and salvaged the book. I did as best I could to go in and preserve it, as you can see. I think I did a pretty good job. And then I went in and I replaced the pages. Not 100% accurate to what Tom did, but I went in and I went through and I added all the Sullivan artwork that needs, and if you look close, this is not Elder props, this isn't Juan's pages, which you guys know I helped contribute to, but these are not the pages Juan uses. These are not the pages from the book that is in this book. Let me go ahead and open. Let's make matching pages. So as you can see, this is Tom's version and what you get from Elder props, and this is my version. These are not that. This is Tom Sullivan artwork. These are not for sale. This is personal use only. And I've gone through. There's no latex hand in this piece here, but it contains all the cellophane pages. Contains all the appropriate artwork. It does have a yellow hue to it. I made that a little bit more intense than it probably was on film. The real version was probably a nice ivory, but I don't know. I kind of like having a little bit of zazz to it. And so I went through, did all these pages. They're all in there. And the DVD is still in there and accessible. It's hidden in the back. And so you could pull the DVD out and still watch it. So my DVD Necro 1 is about the size of an ED1 Necro, with the simple exception that the spine is way too thin. But we're going to remedy that soon. I'm going to make a definitive, more screen-accurate Evil Dead 1 book for myself, and this is just my special edition DVD. But that's your Naturum Demonto, the Book of the Dead. It was never actually referred to as the Necronomicon. Right now, I haven't made and finished my ED2 pages, so right now I'm just kind of sporting a TOTS ED2. It's not my favorite book in the world, and the pages are in God knows what order, and they're not really accurate to any order of Necronomicon, but it's good artwork. It looks like Sullivan, and to be honest with you, for its price tag, it's a great prop. You know, you round the edges, you work the pages a little bit, and they look pretty good. But this is getting completely overhauled into a really good animatic, what I call the Red Book, ED2 book. But for right now, this is all I'm rocking on ED2. ED2 just hasn't been a priority for me while I'm working on the digital file for the pages. That file will be available to all Knights of Sumeria for free. You can print those out and put them directly into your ED2 book. I won't be selling it, I'll be giving it away. If you're not in the Knights of Sumeria, fucking find somebody who is, and they'll give you the pages. Don't message me and ask me for the file. I posted it, it's there. If you're not in the group and you can't get it, find somebody in the group who will do it. I won't. I'm not catering to every single person who messages me, hey, can I get that file? Hey, can I get that file? That would be a full-time job. I'm not doing that. So don't bother. If you're not in the group, by the time I get them out, then so be it. You'll have to find someone who will do it for you. Next up, Army of Darkness. Some people argue it's not Evil Dead. I argue that it is, for the simple reason that it's the entire crew. Everybody knows that it's not Studio Canal. They used a different company, so therefore they had to use different names. They had to change it up a little bit because of property and various other reasons. I've recently been in contact with the production manager of Army of Darkness and a few of the artists from Army of Darkness, and they've enlightened me as to what's in the AOD Necronomicon. I have shared that information in the Knights of Sumeria, so we now, for the first time ever, have unseen artwork for the Necronomicon beyond the 2 pages we see in the pickup and reshoot they did, where they see the Sullivan artwork. So right now I just have some placeholder artwork in there, but no joke, I do have some of that artwork just hanging out here. And I'll be doing something with that in the near future. My favorite piece was this guy right here, which was supposed to essentially be the new Hero of the Sky page. And that is actually signed by the production manager. And then, of course, this page as well, which is an official page of text, which was used to make all the other pages. So, very cool that I now have that definitive and accurate work, and I'll be making good use of it. But my particular AOD is a percolation cover, and it's really simple. It doesn't have the 4 horns, although it does have the space for them, so I could add them if I wished. And it doesn't have that hideous, god-awful N. Also, the teeth are one piece, is sculpted into the latex. It's not separate teeth, which, of course, the screen-used one had separate teeth put onto it. But I do like the Necronomicon from AOD. AOD was the first Evil Dead movie I ever saw. It's my favorite. And so I knew I always wanted to have a Necronomicon. It always bummed me out that we never saw the pages in it. But we are slowly now being able to remedy that. A friend of mine, John Thomas, is actually taking Sullivan-style artwork and taking it into the style of AOD, utilizing some of the AOD text, which we have on this page, to make it match what we've seen, the 2 pages that are screen-used. And we're going to have something inspired by, and it's going to be really cool, and I look forward to throwing those pages in my book. I am not above putting somebody else's pages in my book. Especially if it's John Thomas's pages, because I think the guy's got a lot of talent. And then, of course, the pièce de résistance, everybody's new favorite, mine especially, because I've made about 30 of them, the Ash vs. the Evil Dead book. Now, this particular book is my favorite, and it's the book that my group chose to tackle and replicate. Why? A, because the Star's Twitter page didn't give me shit about it. Which Tom has in the past. Everybody knows Tom protects his copyrights. He has every right to, at least when he owned it. He no longer owns them. And he would be like, don't sell my books. And it's like, okay. But now he doesn't own those anymore. So whoever does own them will have to say, don't sell those books. But I'm still not tackling those older ones. But this was not owned by that group. This was owned by Stars. And they really didn't care. And so this particular cover was sculpted by CB Studios. You guys know I've mentioned Kurt 800 million times on this YouTube channel, so if you're not familiar with who Kurt is or his stuff, then you're missing out. Terrific sculptor. And as you can see, we've got stitches all over the place on this thing. These are an accurate number to the latex pull that is in the auction photos and the exact number of stitches that was on the hero prop. The number of stitches changed throughout the series, depending on what the book was. I noticed that the prop book has a different number of stitches. The one that doesn't open has a different number of stitches than the hero book. So I don't even know if they counted. So I made it accurate to one version of the book, but apparently it doesn't matter how many stitches you put in. So maybe that Lab 151 or whatever from Italy that makes a really great cover, maybe the fact that their stitch count is different doesn't matter. So I don't know, but this is accurate to at least one hero Necronomicon prop. and we've got the stitching, and we've got the stitching. It's a glorious, glorious book, and it's got a cover in there. I am still in the process of making this. This particular one isn't my personal copy. This is yet another one that I made for a fan, although we're only part way through this. I got about a week's worth of work still on this. But I wanted to show you this before I got into the weathering of the pages and whatnot. So I use a float bind system to get that nice crisp look, and then as we go through, we just have all that artwork, and it's all in there. It is compiled from so many screen use pages that I was fortunate enough to get my hands on from various contributors. Obviously, all of the lost pages are in there as well. I did go in and add things like Season 2, Episode 1's page. This, of course, needs to be torn here, as it appears in the show, which is, of course, Kondar destroying the city. And then we have a nice big set of these pages, which do appear in Episode 3 of Season 1. And I went through and I put all the pages where I feel they needed to go. This is, again, because I've gone through and modified the artwork and changed it a little bit here and there, and created something that was very much what the show is, but also inspired by, in such a way that I didn't think it really mattered to find the original order. And then as I've seen more and more screen-used Necronomicons from people who own them, they did fuck all with the binding. They just threw anything in there in, like, order. It didn't seem like there was any rhyme or reason to the order. So, because there wasn't, I said, screw it. I'm just going to do what makes sense. So every picture that appeared on the left side and the right side is on a left side and a right side. They did 11 by 17 paper, folded in half, and done booklet style, which is the appropriate way to bind something of that size. I chose not to do that because I had more control over the file. And in the end, I was happier doing what I did with it, which was, getting the pages on the left or the right side appropriately, regardless of where they appear in the book. But in the show, if you see a page opened up and there's two sides, it will look like that. There are several pages in the book that showed up in the show that I didn't put in because they just, quite frankly, look like shit. And I didn't feel like recreating them. But some of the major ones you obviously want in there. Like, for example, this page does appear in the lost pages, but it also appears in the book, in the show, on screen, which doesn't make sense, but it is what it is, so I put it where it is in Evil Dead 2 Animatic. This particular page, which is, of course, very famous, which is a Sullivan page, this page appears in the credits. Oh, look at that. My alarm went off. I gotta feed my dog. So this page appears in the credits, so I recreated the rest of it in the similar style. This page doesn't appear in the show, but we know it's in there. So what I did was I did something very similar to how it appears in Army of Darkness, just to get a little bit of AOD love in there. There's another page which shows that this appears at the end of the show in the credits, and we do see a version of it in there, so I recreated it to the best of my ability. This page does appear, which is really interesting because these components are from the 2013 remake. So there's some 2013 in there. And then there's some more fun pages. Let's see, like this one was released in Entertainment Weekly, so we're very familiar with these two pages. The Portal page, we've seen this page. It appears just like this in Season 1, Episode 3, so I very much wanted to make sure that was in it. These pages we know from the auction, particularly the Baphomet page, which I'm a big fan of. The actual Necronomicon page, which is, again, something we saw in the auction photos, and we know that that page is articulate and based on how it looks. When you cut the thing off, it comes to life, it can speak, and we see that at the end of Season 1 with, or the end of Season 1, yeah, with Pablo. Season 2, he didn't cut it off, it was all over his body in Season 2. This appears in Season 1, Episode 3 as well, which is another Sullivan page. Of course, the Hero of the Sky page. A lot of people have gotten their hands on Hero of the Sky pages and scanned them, and the file is circulated. Now people are selling it on Etsy and things like that, so it's really easy to get a hold of this now. I originally was keeping these under lock and key because I didn't want to create something that was so similar that it would devalue the screen use pages and people would pass them off as screen use, but that's already happening now because some idiot let the file go. So now people are claiming that theirs is an original without a COA because it was part of a split up set. But if you look at it, most of us can spot that page and know whose file it is. So sucks that people are doing that, but what else is new? Other people are being upfront about it and being like, this is blatantly a replica, and that's cool. I can respect that. The other one that I wanted to show you guys, which was kind of fun, is the Elagos page. So this we see appear this way in the show, and I was really interested in that whole section of demons. So what I've done is I've gone through and moved all the demons into one section of my book, so that it's like there's a demon section. I even got a little piece of 2013. I repainted this page, worked him in, so he's in there, which I think is kind of cool. And there is, to my knowledge, I also painted Kandar the Destroyer as he appears as a 3D model and threw him in there as the first demon you could summon, so he's like the head demon, which was kind of fun throwing that in there. But 99% of these pages are all screen use pages, so I really just sort of added and moved text around and filled the book out so that it really creates something of an inspired by feel. You feel that when you hold this book, you feel like this is a real book and this is something that could have been on the show, but in reality it's not. It's just a fan-made book, but it does have a weight to it. The cover is nice and thick. It is latex, but it's plasti dip, so it's not going to rot for like 30 or some odd years. And it's just got a nice, good hardiness to it. And I'm a big fan of how Kurt did this cover, and you know, everybody who's gotten their hands on one has been really happy with it. And as you could compare it to other latexes, like nothing against David Perkle, but this particular cover latex is so much thinner and flimsier than this. And I've plasti dipped that cover. It doesn't hold up. And God, you compare it to this god awful latex cover. There's almost nothing to this. This is so spongy and so loose, whereas this is thick and hardy. And when you feel it, it doesn't even feel like latex. It feels like urethane, like rubber. So those are the Necronomicons of Evil Dead. You can purchase one of these Trick or Treat Studios versions, paint it up yourself, plasti dip it, repaint it, weather the pages. We have a video showing you how to do it on the Knights of Samaria page. It's actually really easy to do. And you got yourself a really decent replica with some good artwork in it. Even though the pages aren't the right pages in the right order, they're all Sullivan pages and they all look great. Really, really awesome job recreating the Sullivan look they did. The cover just needs some work. You can obviously still find the Evil Dead DVD special book out there. You won't be able to get the pages that I put in, but it'll look cool. And the AOD covers, they are out there in the world. You can purchase one, put it on, I believe, a 10x12 book, and it'll look really nice. You can get them with the N on the forehead or without. And then, of course, if you want one of these are back ordered with me through the end of 2022. I think it's a really sexy book, and a lot of people have been trying to make this book by putting in all different pages, putting in Sullivan pages, putting in 2013 pages, putting in Lovecraft pages, and ones off of bookofthedead.ws. If you're putting a page in, I've seen it. I know the page. I know where it's from. I'm not going to see anything new in people's replicas because I spend most of my day scouring the internet for pages, and most of the people who run these websites, you know, the Deadite Slayer and bookofthedead.ws, you know, I speak with them all the time, and they're very forthcoming with me about getting me stuff when I need it. And I've even had collectors reach out to me and say, hey, you make a great replica. I have this page. Do you have it? No, I don't. Well, why don't you go ahead and throw it in there? And I'm so grateful when you guys reach out and do that, because you want the fans to have something special. I think it's a really solid move when people do that. But it is the best one I think you're going to find, because it absolutely has all of the elements, including over 105 impressions in the book, which is just awesome. So I think people would enjoy having that many images in a book. So thank you for hanging out. You too can have a compendium of Necronomicons in your house if you reach out and try to find some of these books. I recommend starting with the Tots book. It's the easiest one to get, and rounding up one of these if you can find it. If you're worried about a thing falling apart like that, there's a lot of easy solutions to repair it. If you want to do that, go into the Knights of Samaria page, talk to me about it. We can show you guys how to restore that and prevent it from dying. Otherwise, you could do what I did and just repaint it and restore it in such a way that it won't die. But it makes for a really nice lost, you know, these are like the Jedi text right here. Look at that. I mean, I may just throw this on the shelves with my Jedi text and just be like, it's Luke Skywalker. But I love the way that sits and the way that looks. It's very sexy, and it gives you this sort of, you know, there's no other word for it. It's a Biblioteca de Evil Dead. It's Evil Dead library. I mean, I've got a library of Evil Dead Necronomicons and Naturum de Montos, and it's a lot of fun, man. It's a cool hobby, but I'll tell you, it makes me happy knowing how many people have been able to get their hands on an AVED replica, because it's a lot of work. And I'm really happy that all you guys have purchased it from me. Not once have I heard a complaint. Like I said, I guarantee it for life. So if it's something you're interested in getting, thank you for the interest. And, you know, it's a long wait because I only make about 4 to 6 a year. But they are only purchasable through the Knights of Samaria page on Facebook, so you'll have to go there. Some of those recipients, you can find them all over the internet. You can find them at the Knights of Samaria page. You can find them at the Ghost Beaters page. You can find them in the Evil Dead Collectors Initiative. But yeah, this has been my collection of Evil Dead Necronomicons. Make sure you go back and find somewhere on my channel the video of how I converted an Evil Dead Book of the Dead DVD special into a Evil Dead 1 replica. Thank you very much for checking it out. Hope you guys have a good Halloween, and stay tuned for other things. And at this point, you should hopefully have seen my Season 1 Geralt of Rivia video that I've put up. If I haven't put it up yet, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. So check out, going into December, it's going to be a lot of Witcher. A lot of Witcher stuff, and then hopefully a lot of Underworld stuff. Hopefully I'll have some stuff for you for that. But yeah, take a look at those videos. Take a look at Knights of Samaria. Take a look at bookofthedead.ws. Check that out. Hope you guys enjoyed the 40th of Evil Dead. Thank you. Good night. Finnegan, dinner? Yeah.